Sometimes people come out in absolutely outlandish outfits, and they get disqualified because not only are they not good singers, but their social appropriateness leaves a lot of room for help. Anyway, Susan Boyle comes out, and they ask her, "What is your name? How old are you?" She says she's 47. She's unemployed, but looking for a job. Obviously, she's not very attractive. She's the definition of the word frumpy, actually. And she tells them in the midst of this, "And I've never been kissed." Now, I don't know what exactly that means. Does it mean she's never had a relationship? The audience in this thing, and the faces on the judges, a matter of fact, are, oh, brother, here we go. This isn't going to last too long. You know the old thing about the hook? You can almost see the hook getting ready to pull Susan off the stage. And she says, "I'd like a career in singing." And everybody, the people in the audience, I'm telling you, this is what was going on. I saw young people, probably late teens, early 20s, they're going like this. "I've never had the chance, and now I think this is my chance," she says. So they say, "Okay, Susan, go ahead and sing." So the people who sing on these shows are all accompanied by recorded music set up especially for them. And you can see the person in the back push the button. And the song from the great musical Les Miserables, "I Dreamed a Dream," comes up. And if you know that song, it's a gorgeous, magnificent song, but it requires tremendous voice. Susan begins to sing. There's absolutely stunned silence in this auditorium, a couple of thousand people at least. This woman has a magnificent, magnificent voice, unbelievable voice. When you see this person standing there and her mouth is moving, you're thinking, are they playing a recording? Or is this really her? And people, the judges, even Simon, the ogre that he is, the Attila the Hun of talent shows, his eyes are bugging out of his head. And there's three judges, two men, and in the middle is this very beautiful young woman judge with long blonde hair, just a gorgeous person. She doesn't know what to do. She is completely stunned by this. And this woman sings through this song. If you ever get a chance to see this, I would have liked to have been able to present this on the screen to you, and I'm sure there's probably a way to do it, except I am such a computer sluggard that I couldn't get that for you. But it's an amazing performance given what you see. As soon as this woman walks out on the stage, everybody in that auditorium is saying, "Oh, brother, what is this going to be like?" And then she sings this tremendous song. People are crying. And the farther she gets into the song, as the song gets more complicated and more demanding on her voice, people start to stand up in the audience, and they're applauding this woman as she goes into these very high notes in this wonderful song that is just a gorgeous, beautiful song. And everybody's thinking, "You got to be kidding me. I never would have imagined that this is possible." And people, the judges, not the two men, of course, but the woman judge is crying. People in the audience are crying. You can see people, you think about those people in the audience, and you and I would be some of those. There was something we wanted to do, and we never got there, and we had dreams that didn't make it, and things failed, and we don't know why. And, most of us think, gee, if I could only do that over again, or if I had another chance at this or whatever. And there are people like that looking at this woman, and all of their life and all of their own dreams are caught up with this woman. And the tears are running down their eyes, thinking, this is magnificent. This can happen. It's not impossible. It's amazing. I saw something today I would never have believed unless I saw it. Everyone is stunned. And the audience affirmation is so enthusiastic, standing, applauding, then stopping to listen and being in silence, and then more applause, and the judges' eyes are popping out of their heads. And everything is wonderful. And when the song is over, people just are not sitting down, they're applauding. And Susan turns and walks off the stage. She doesn't know what to do with this. So she stops and she looks at everybody and she turns and walks off the stage. And they're saying, the judges are saying, Susan, come back, come back. And so she comes back and stands in front of them, waiting to hear I don't know what. And the first judge says, I am reeling from your performance. I've been doing this for 3 years. I have never been so surprised, so happily surprised as this. And the woman says, this beautiful young woman, she says, and she spoke the truth, although it sounded very harsh, but she spoke the absolute truth. She said, almost everyone, Susan, was against you before they heard you. By her appearances. Almost everyone was against you. And we heard that and we said, ooh, that was tough. That was absolutely true. Everyone was against you. And Simon, the head man, the man capable of nastiness beyond belief, they have to vote. The judges now have to vote yes or no. And Simon says, this is the biggest yes I have ever given. Tears on Susan afterwards. She couldn't believe that her dream had come true. Everyone expected they knew what they were going to see, but they saw something that went straight into their hearts. It's too bad we don't hear Bible stories like that, because we hear them with ears and eyes, see them with eyes. We've already been there. We've already heard about that. This lesson comes up almost every year. Oh yeah, there was the resurrection, and then, oh, what's after that? Oh, the Thomas story comes in. And but today's gospel is showing us the same thing coming from the love of God. Certainly the love of God came into Susan's life as far as her singing goes. And it comes into our life in the gospel. Think about it, 2,000 years ago, and the story still goes into our hearts. Our eyes see, if we haven't gotten so jaded by life that we have blinders on, our hearts see a new reality, an overcoming of violence and hatred and suffering and fear, overcoming even death, which we see all the time. You remember the old cowboy shows, of those of you who are old enough, at least as old as me. We used to see those cowboy shows. You never saw Gene Autry kill anybody close up. You never saw any blood. You never saw any brains exploding out of a head. You never saw anybody dripping. You never saw anybody execute somebody in those movies. And now we all know what that looks like. If it happened right in front of us, we would say, I know what that looks like. We've seen it over and over again in movies and television. Some of you don't like it, but let's face it, we know what it is. When I was 10 years old, if they'd had a CSI program on television, it would have lasted 1 week. All they'd have to see is a guy cut the top of somebody's head off, reach in and pull out that brain, which, by the way, I love that show. I've told you that before. We would say, no. We're not watching that. We're not letting our children watch it. No, that's very damaging and disturbing. And so we've become very jaded about this stuff because we know what so much looks like, so much terrible stuff, what it looks like.